Hi, I'm Fahim. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Educative. Largest software tech companies in the world are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to professional software engineers, but they cannot find enough of them. There are 21 million professional developers in the world, and they're highly sought after because it takes years to become a production-grade software engineer. Making matters worse, even the best software engineers in the world have to constantly stay up to date on two things. First is your core programming frameworks, like Python, Java, someone mentioned Ruby, Angular, JavaScript, etc. These are some of the foundational pieces of programming, or foundational pieces that are used to build software. The other thing that's on the rise is APIs. These days, a lot of applications are built by stitching APIs together. For example, if you are building Uber today, you're going to use Twilio to send text messages. You're going to use SendGrid for emails. You're going to use Google Maps for directions, and Braintree or Stripe for processing payments. Developers love using APIs because it allows them to focus on the core components of their application. However, just like programming frameworks, every API has a learning curve. Bottom line, as many of you know over here, learning to code is really hard, and the learning never ends. So how does one become a programmer and then stay relevant? Instead of learning by doing, most programmers have to resort to one-size-fits-all video tutorials, or they have to comb through Google keyword searches or developer forums like Stack Overflow. Exacerbating the problem is the fact that when a developer wants to try out a new technology, they sometimes have to spend hours on installations and setting up configuration files before they can write even the first line of their code. Educative fixes all of that. Here's how it works. Instead of passively sitting through video tutorials, you learn by interactively coding, solving quizzes, and coding challenges. Based on your performance, we adapt the curriculum to match your skill level in real time. And best of all, we provide pre-configured developer environments in the cloud, so developers have to spend no time on setup. Leveraging a technology called containers, we can cost-effectively provide every developer with their own development environment, then they can save and come back to later. Both of us co-founders have 22 years of combined experience working as software developers at Microsoft and Facebook. We understand how developers learn and what are their pain points. We realized there's a huge problem here and decided to quit our jobs to found Educative. But we are not just scratching our own itch. We already have more than 10,000 paying customers, and we have customers in over 80 countries. So Educative works on providing best, high-quality, interactive, and adaptive courses for core programming frameworks by collaborating with industry influencers and with universities like Dartmouth College. On the API front, we are now partnering with some of the top companies to create interactive courses that help developers onboard their APIs. The best part is that these courses are provided free for developers, and they're subsidized by the marketing and sales budgets of the API platforms. We are hiring. We're looking for content editors with background in computer science. We're looking for digital marketers. And we're looking for definitely software engineering interns and software engineers. We are Educative, and we are changing how developers learn and stay relevant. That's it, I guess. Oh, yes. Questions? Go ahead.
Way of determining where you are and whether you need to get new content? Or whether you repeat old content? I mean, how sophisticated is that feedback mechanism?
It's pretty basic at this point. So it takes you to different content graphs based on you're succeeding or failing. So the best way to think about this is like, if you're really doing well, you're taking the highway route. If you're like struggling, you're taking a more scenic route.
So that kind of reminds me of what is it, Anki? Is that what you're kind of thinking of, where like it asks you something, and if you get it right, you don't see it again for quite a long time, and if you get it wrong, then you're going to see it earlier, kind of thing?
Something like this. I would like compare it to the GMAT system, which kind of like gives you more difficult questions if you're like solving them, if you're doing really well, and it gives you like easier questions if you're struggling.
Excuse me. Okay. So your customers are you just targeting single user, or are you going to aim for school district in the future?
We are very focused on professional developers for now. So our customers are individual developers or the employers who hire some of the professional developers. So we're not focused on schools or like high schools or middle schools as of now.
Okay. Is there any way school districts could get in on this Educative?
Yeah, talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any human intervention as like if a developer is trying to learn something and is stuck? So as you talked about, Googling and going to Stack Overflow, is the developer expected to go to Stack Overflow, or do you have a teacher that you know?
We have no teachers for now. We might introduce community features where you can like ask questions to other students who are at the same level or are struggling in the same area, because we know where you are, how like in the content graph. Oh, question. That's all? That's it?
All right, they told me I have to do one more.
Yeah, please don't kill me for that.
Well,
Can you tell me again what your business model is? Do developers pay for this, or do
Yes,
your
developers or their employers pay for this, and for API companies pay for the courses, and they're free for developers. Okay, thank you.